You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
And welcome to Overgrow the Radio. This is your host, Stickman, and
your co-host, Elisa, is back.
Yeah!
A free woman.
All innocent and shit, like we knew she was. Dan May's hating life right now.
Yes, he is, and that makes me very happy.
I can't wait till the second hour. I mean, I love Josh, who's in here earlier. I love Casper Leitch and Tracey, but, you know, Dan May, we've been waiting for a minute for this, huh?
Yeah, it's been a little over 2 years since they did this to me, and, yeah, I'm going to get some justice out of this.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And Rob Corry will join us as well, and I'm sure he's got some valuable insight and some opinions he's been holding back on.
We're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that happened in the trial, and it is pretty interesting.
Absolutely. Everyone should definitely stick around for that. As I mentioned, we do have Mr. Stanley. He came in early to hang out with us.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to do, so I thought I'd come by and say hello to the gang, and I got invited in. Thanks for having me.
He had a near-death paragliding experience, so he needed to come be around some mellow people.
Yes, I did.
I just say the more good-looking guys in here, the better. So.
Oh, shucks. Well, I'm honored to be sitting by the best-looking free woman I've ever seen in my life.
Elisa needs to turn her volume down on her computer. And then we'll jump into some news.
Sorry. I'm a bad girl.
You've been gone a couple weeks.
I have.
Probably like a whole new strange world for you.
It seems strange to be here almost.
Yeah. But I said earlier, you look so much happier.
I am so much happier. It's like something's been lifted off of me. The first couple of days, I thought I was going to float away. So.
I was going to say you had a pregnant glow, but I didn't want to get punched in my nose.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
If I'll just throw something in. Whenever I got the text from you, Jason, and I'm on the road, okay, I'm on I-70. I get the text. I literally pulled the car over and did a dance. I was so excited.
Yeah, it was an emotional moment right then. I think I was crying and texting all at the same time, letting people know. So, and we're going to get all detailed about all the fun stuff, but we're going to get some news out of the way now that I have my news lady back. I can talk news. But first, we've been slacking. You've been gone. I guess I've been bummed out, and I really haven't done the Stickman versus the government lately. So today I really, really wanted to get a hold of Dan May, or Lee Richardson, his public information officer. Apparently, they know our phone number now.
Do you really think they're going to talk to you after what happened Monday?
Well, that, and, we've called them a few times, and it was funny today. We called them, 8 times. And 3 or 4 times in, I noticed that after the second ring, it started going to voicemail. So we're going to work on that before next week. We're going to get a different phone number, and we're going to get Dan May. But today, there's an issue that I was just made aware of today. One of my personal enemies, I don't know what the proper word is there, Ken Buck. I don't care for Ken Buck. He's another DA that's really stuck in like 1950 on so many issues. Today I read that I actually got an email asking me to sign a petition, which I always do, a form letter. How hard is that? Sure. And apparently he's contacted Eric Holder and asked that Eric Holder get involved and express his opinion on Amendment 64, how it's illegal under federal law. And of course, my initial thought and reaction is, what the hell is it Eric Holder's business? It's a state initiative. Under the 10th Amendment of our Constitution, we have protection of state rights unless it's something that is directly, enforced by the federal government in the Constitution, which we know has been drawn way out. But that being said, it's time for us to stand up and tell these guys, this is ridiculous. That's kind of what we did. I called, I got a hold of Heath Montgomery, who's his public information officer, and Heath put on a good smile on his voice, for a conservative. And Heath's response to my request for an interview really was that they've gotten so much press and so many people want to do interviews over this statement already that Ken Buck's already issued a blanket statement. And I'm going to read that for our viewers. Mr. Buck says, Well, let's just start from the beginning. It says, "Hello, this is in response to your request for a statement from Ken Buck. Please see the following." So obviously he's heard an upset person or two in the last day. It says, "The letter sent to the Attorney General is not seeking federal intervention. Rather, it seeks an opinion from the Department of Justice that Amendment 64 is inconsistent with the federal government's position on the possession of marijuana for recreational use." I've got to stop right there and say they just contradicted themselves in that sentence. They're not asking for federal intervention, but they're asking for their opinion. Is that federal intervention?
I don't think so.
Well, no, I mean, that is.
That's absolutely, that's a clear contradiction. That's hypocrisy at best. If you're asking for an opinion, you're asking for them to get involved.
Absolutely. I mean, this is ridiculous, Ken Buck. I will call you out right here. The voters of Colorado speak very loudly, and we are very strong in what we want. 80% of our state supports medical cannabis. The polls right now are showing about 55% for legalization. 10% undecided. Let's throw another 5% on that. That's 60% of our population. Come on, man. Okay, I'm going to continue, though, because it gets better. He goes on to say, let's see, where was I? I lost my place. In that light, the letter is absolutely appropriate. It's unfortunate that the proponents of Amendment 64 are using political tactics to detract from the real debate about how this harmful addictive drug will impact our children if legalized.
Oh, they need to vote him out of office.
What an idiot. Let me be proper there.
He said that?
He said that. It's
this addictive?
Quotes the whole 9 yards. I'm
Dangerous.
even going to pass it around.
Plant.
Addictive. Let me start right there. Number one, show me a study that says it's addictive. There's some contradiction on whether it may be a little bit psychologically addictive. In my opinion, that person would probably be addicted to cheeseburgers too. Dangerous. Tap water's more dangerous, Ken Buck. People die from tap water. They overdose. No one's ever died from cannabis. 10,000 years. Seriously.
Not one single person, Ken Buck, has ever died of cannabis. I tell you what, Paige, Figgy, if you're listening tonight, which I would think you probably are, you got to give old Kenny Boy a call and let him know how addictive this is for your daughter, Charlotte.
Absolutely. Well, and that's just it, Josh, is people like this in public office with the ear of the people are doing such a huge disservice to people like Paige who need this medicine for, their kids, or for me, for myself, for you, It's absurd. And I don't get loud and obnoxious very often, but sometimes you just got to shout and say, well, what the hell?
Well, it's what a lot of politicians do, is they spread ignorance.
They do. They do.
And it's a shame.
And I'm going to probably get into it more later. With people like Ken Buck and Dan May both, they got to be golfing buddies. I'm just guessing. I'm sure they compare notes.
They're in the closet together.
That could be. I heard a rumor about Dan May.
I did too.
And it's all good. A lot of gay friends.
Hey,
love
that's
gay
fine.
people.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
But I bet he doesn't support gay rights.
No, he doesn't. And most of those conservatives that, gay is gay, and that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. I mean, and everybody should have the right to marry and do whatever you want to do. But most of these conservative Republicans that get caught, they were blatantly against any type of gay rights or anything else. That's how they operate, though. That's the hypocrisy in our government. It's criminal.
Absolutely. So before we jump into more negative news, let's have Josh. You guys have a new show here, and we're going to get you on soon to do another little cross-promotion thing. But plug your show for us real quick.
Well, sure. And I just want to add, I'd like to have you guys on our show as well.
Absolutely.
And do some cross-promotion, because what you guys do is completely different than what we do, and people need to hear them both, okay? They need to hear all of these news. Our show, which we're so honored to be on, is American Weed, The Realm Radio. And we call it American Weed because a lot of our fans out there had watched the National Geographic show American Weed. We weren't too pleased with that, but it did have a branding. So as we progress and continue to pick up viewers and listeners, it will become The Realm of Caring Radio, or The Realm Radio, because that's really where our heart is.
Sure.
That's what this show's about. It's about our program, Realm of Caring. Go to realmofcaring.com, get involved. This program, actually, my brother, wonderful, amazing Joel, makes this oil for the patients. He's up all nights most of the time making this, and we are able to, through the Realm, get this to patients free of charge. These are children with Dravet syndrome for the high CBD content, no psychoactive. This is cancer patients. This is MS patients. This is Parkinson's. So, anytime somebody gets afflicted with a disease in this country, and a serious disease like cancer, I don't care what kind of health insurance you have. You can have the Cadillac of health insurance, and it's going to break you. But that's what the Realm is here to help these folks with. And so, what the show's focused around, we want to have our patient stories. This is a way to get this out to the world. The show, sure. This is medical, and in fact, people like Ken Buck, and this quote that I'm just reading right now, I'm going to use the word again. It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal, and it's atrocious to these families who are finding so much relief with this. And that's what our show's about. We love it. We're having so much fun with it, and we're so happy to be with iCannabis Radio. Thank you.
We're happy to have you guys.
I love the Realm. I think they do wonderful things for patients.
Yeah, and really the hidden reason why Josh is here is we've got a special story tonight. I've been sending everyone I know to him. And I just want to kind of highlight how easy that is for a cancer patient. So here in a few minutes, we're going to talk to a friend and go into that a little bit. Yeah, man, keep up the good work. I visited your guys' new office. Great little spot to bring people in and chat and cozy, and got a great art studio next door if you like that kind of thing like I do. So we've got just like no minutes now, so there's 2 more stories real quickly I want to touch on. Rhode Island has decriminalized cannabis up to an ounce. Yay, Rhode Island. Woohoo. Go.
Hey, Lincoln.
That's easy. It's a $500 fine, traffic ticket. You're done. You go on about your way. All right, the big one, though, that I wanted to spend more time on, but we're not going to get to, is D.C. I have a vested interest in D.C. They felt my crotch and massaged my scalp the last time I was there. They have now okayed 4 dispensaries. It looks like they even have locations already and names. Herbal Alternatives, Metropolitan Wellness, Tacoma Wellness. So kudos to D.C. I know personally from doing protests there that all the rules and regulations and paperwork are ridiculous. The minute they found out I wanted to come protest cannabis, they fought me for 6 months. It wasn't until I threatened legal action that I finally got my permit. Since then, they've been awfully nice, which is really weird. So I'm gonna have my producer call up Mr. Casper Leitch real quick. Casper is from Time for Hemp. He's actually another talk show host. And, we have a theory here, really, I would say station-wide, that, we're all in this together, not competitors. And Casper does a show on hemp. And really, that's something that we're not filling in right now with the knowledge we should be here at iCannabis Radio. So we're working on that.
Hello?
Hey, Mr. Leitch, how are you? This is Stickman
Fine, thank you. And
Overgrow
you?
the Radio. I'm doing good. You're here with myself, my co-host Elisa Kappelmann.
Hi there.
And Mr. Josh
Hello,
Stanley.
happy Thursday.
Yeah, and Mr. Josh Stanley's in a little early with us from American Weed and the Realm Radio.
Hi, Casper.
Said that wrong.
That's okay.
So, Casper, we wanted to have you on. I was just saying, my opinion on, I don't look at you or any other talk show host as a competitor. I think this is a cause. We all bring a different angle to it. We're all in this together, and working together and getting the message out with each other is important. So I found it very important to bring you on. You probably know more about hemp than I do, so that's kind of what I'd like to focus on a little bit. But I want to start off, a lot of people don't know who we bring on, so I kind of want you to give your background so our listeners know where you're coming from.
Well, I was brought into the marijuana movement by accident. Jack Hare hired me to operate his office and handle getting his magazine and his T-shirts out to people who made those purchases. And in the process of doing that, I ended up becoming a marijuana activist, hell-bent to ending prohibition.
Right on. So you worked with Mr. Hare.
Yeah. 1990, I began working and operating his office, and I left there in 1992, the end of 92, almost 3 full years.
Right on, kudos. Jack is definitely, I never had the pleasure of meeting Jack, but I always considered him a mentor. did so much for our movement in general, you know, both medical and recreational and industrial. All three that, you know, how do you even, I don't know how I could ever compete with that. You know, not that it's a competition, but he definitely made his impact. And his wife, Jeannie, is a sweetheart, too. I just have to throw that in there.
Well, the whole family rocks, and it was fun to hang out with Mark back then as well. And Mark's got a good sense of humor.
Sure. We had Jody on 2 weeks ago on the show. So,
great group of people, yeah.
I'm just going to guess that we kind of just answered this question, but where did you find, you know, when did you determine that hemp was really your passion? You know, I tell people all the time that, you know, I am a patient, but really, first and foremost, I'm a hempster. I see hemp as saving our planet. We just have to let it.
Well, it's kind of hard to put my finger on the moment when that happened. It just, I don't know, it just kind of happened. You get so involved with getting the message out. You get so involved with trying to get people out from behind bars. And it's very consuming, to say the least. And that consumption, somewhere between working for Jack's office and doing my television series, it became a passion. And I think a lot of it, too, is Time for Hemp itself is a project that has required a gatekeeper. And I consider myself to be a gatekeeper of Time for Hemp. And there's been a few times when I've walked away from the marijuana movement, just broken economically and broken financially and spiritually, and just worn out from the whole aspect of being a hemp activist. But it's a lot like a family. When you're gone from the movement for a while, you start to miss the people involved with it. And when you return to being involved with the movement, you remember why it was you got so active in the first place. The people are just an amazing aspect to this movement.
Yeah, it really is. We were talking earlier at dinner. My co-host in our second hour, if you're able to listen, we're going to go into it. She was just found not guilty on felony possession and cultivation charges, which is huge here. It's going to, you know, really have a ripple impact all across the country for caregivers, and I would hope so. For caregivers and dispensary owners. And it's amazing, you know, what I was saying is really there's another case that's pretty high profile here, Bob Kraus, and since those two cases have started, it's amazing what that's done for our community here, especially in Colorado Springs in particular. You know, I sort of knew some of these people, but it really has brought us close. You know, if anything, the war against us, I think it's having the opposite effect of what they're hoping for.
It really did bring people together. I was amazed at the amount of people that gathered. It's very touching to me that to have that many people come and support the cause. It's great.
Yeah. So what kind of...
Yeah, we are family. We are family. You're absolutely right. What were we going to say?
No, I was just going to continue on with, do you guys have any, I know we've got some battles here that we fight, and we try to keep up with different areas. I'm curious what you guys have going on out there. Do you have any evil DAs or...
In Portland?
Yeah, I haven't followed the news in Oregon for a little while, so...
Well, we got an initiative out here, and we've got enough signature, it looks like, to get it on the ballot. And if it happens, it'll be a really big thing, because it also includes ending prohibition on industrial hemp as well as medical marijuana. And with that being encumbered, if that is passed by the state, then that means that our farmers can start planting industrial hemp the day after the election.
That's awesome. Yeah, we actually just became the first state in the union to have quasi-legal industrial hemp, thanks to a good friend of ours, Jason Love, and some other people. We have a hemp phytoremediation bill. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Don't know the number of it, so I'll sound like an idiot right now. But it's a great start. I mean, the purpose of it is to obviously clean and rejuvenate the soil. We've seen it. We've seen the data worldwide of it happening, so it's really exciting. Well, Casper, we got to jump away for a commercial, but if you want to hang out, we'll keep you around for a little bit longer here.
Alrighty, I'll hang tight.
All right, buddy, we'll be right back. Stick with us here on Overgrow the Radio.
Peace.
My name is Gary Johnson. Today I reach out to you, members of all political parties. I reach out to everyone with a vote and an axe to grind. From the Tea Party, the Constitution Party, the Green and Libertarian parties, I call out to all of you, including the disaffected and disillusioned among the Republicans and Democrats. Today, there's a handful of people in Washington ruining America for 330 million of us. They've kept our nation in a state of perpetual war and increasing unsustainable debt. This small group has presided over the elimination of our Bill of Rights and the systematic dismantling of our freedoms guaranteed us under our Constitution. It is them we should be fighting, not each other. We the people will never agree on the small things, but let's agree on the big thing. Our leaders have blown it. If we don't get control of this ship together and fix it together, we all go down with it together. I ask you to join me in trying something that's never been attempted before in America. Let's put our parties and our differences aside one time. Be libertarian with me for one election. Together, we'll stop the spending and end the wars. Together, we'll rebuild our own roads, bridges, schools, and hospitals instead of building theirs half a world away. Together, we'll restore our industrial might and our economy. And if in 4 years we as a people decide we don't like peace, prosperity, and freedom, we can always vote tyranny back into office again. America is better and brighter than this. Be libertarian with me this one time, and I'll prove it to you. Live free.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
And welcome back to Overgrow the Radio. Chris keeping me on my toes again. Hey, Casper, you still there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Right on. I got you. I don't know if your mic was on.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're there. You're there. I wanted, before
okay.
we're going to run out of time here in a few minutes, but I wanted to talk about the show that you do. Like I said, we're all about cross-promoting, and I think, we are all working together in this cause, and I'm all about it. So tell us about your show, what time, where can we find you?
Yeah, and you're right. I do believe in cross-promoting. I have as many members in the marijuana movement's media as I can because there's a lot of people who need to be reached, and there are some people who appreciate and find me enjoyable. There are some people who find marijuana radio enjoyable. Some people who find rap, everybody has their own taste. Everybody's in their own neck of the woods. And what we're out to do is to end the prohibition, get people out from behind bars, and to make sure people who are sick can get medication without going to jail. And that is not a competition. That is a dedication that is being put out by a lot of people. And everybody who's involved with that needs to have a little boost to their promo, a little boost to their audience if that's possible, because we do want to end this horrible prohibition. My show's heard on AmericanFreedomRadio.com every Monday through Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard. And you can go to time4hemp.com and find out more about the show. Also, we are found in iTunes. If you are at iTunes, type into the search engine Time for Hemp. All 4 of our podcasts pop up and are easy to locate.
Awesome, sir. Well, it definitely is time for hemp. We'll get you back on sometime when we have some more time to talk about hemp. Until then, keep doing what you're doing. I think we'll all keep plugging away and beating on dishonest district attorneys across the nation until this war's over. Not just district attorneys, but that's our focus tonight.
And I look forward to introducing you and the members of your staff to my audience as well in the future. So I think it'll be a fun crossover. Anytime,
sir. We'll talk soon. Enjoy your evening, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you. And remember, the next time you hear me, you'll know that it's time for hemp.
Right on. So we've got a couple minutes here real quick. There is another story that we should probably hit on, and I sort of buried it a little bit because it was long, and I have ADD. No, it's very important, though. It's something, that the feds are obviously scared right now. They see all these initiatives in Oregon. I don't remember the count, but I think there's like 6 or 7 states right now.
7, I think.
Yeah, with initiatives, if not already pieces on the ballot. With that being said, I think the feds are looking for any possible way to come at us right now. It's evident, I'm going to voice this opinion later, but I think people like Dan May are no more than an extension of the federal government. What's going on in this article out in California, which they know the feds all too well out there, they are now telling landlords that basically, the long and short, that they're part of drug trafficking organizations, cartels, if they rent to people for dispensaries or grows. And they're threatening them with federal seizure. They've seen that before in California. I think this is a little bit different angle now. As Josh is sitting here, and Josh actually is a victim of the federal government a couple times, I believe.
2 times over, yes.
Yeah. What in something like, when you read that, what defense is there against that? There's really none, in my opinion, because the landlords are going to just kick you out and find another tenant.
Well, landlords, in my case, both times we got letters, and landlords called immediately and said, one of them said, "What do I do? I'd like to keep you here." And I said, "Well, let's talk with my attorney." We sat with my attorney. My attorney said what Warren Edson says so many times over and over again, is that federal is federal is federal. And he said, "Oh, that's it, get out." And the other one just said, "Get out, be out overnight." He didn't want to lose his assets. It's a fear tactic, and it's really, if you look at it, it's a lie, is what it is, from the federal government. They not one time have they taken anybody's property. The federal government wants to be in real estate right now about as much as banks do. The economy's collapsed. Okay, well, I'm in default on my mortgage anyway. Here, why don't you just take this over? If you're going to take it over, we're going to continue to treat sick people.
Sure, and that's, it's just a lawsuit waiting to happen on so many levels. The thing I just talked about with dispensaries in D.C. D.C. is a federal territory. It's not a state. It's run by the federal government. It's governed by the federal government. How in the hell do they justify having dispensaries there and then telling me I can't drive with my meds to go get my daughter? Someone somewhere is going to stand up, and that's really going to have to be the end of this. And it is fear. They threaten, federal court is a little scary for cannabis people in the cannabis world, because there is no defense. You aren't even allowed to talk about being a patient or being a caregiver. That being said, the education's out there. People are going to hear the facts of the case and put 2 and 2 together. Whether they're supposed to weigh in on that or not, people have emotions. They have a conscience.
That's what's happening right now. There is a medical marijuana, hemp consciousness moving through the United States right now. People are waking up to it. People are hearing about all of the benefits, and I call it the snowball effect is what I call it, because you may have your right-wing Republican.
White-wing?
Yeah, I remember that.
White supremacist wing Republicans?
You may have
no.
you may have those Christian coalition people, even the people from Pocus on the Fanny. And this, 10 years ago, they would have said, no way, medical marijuana. Now they know a neighbor. Now they know their grandmother, their friend's grandmother. Everybody now is knowing somebody who's positively benefited. That's how we beat the feds. You don't beat the feds by going against them with a hammer, and you really can't go against them with lawsuits unless you have millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
You beat them with education. You beat them by people saying, wait a second, you stack a jury. I don't have to say anything about this being medical. The jury's going to look at this. That's what we're turning to. When we're seeing the first Gallup poll at 50-50 for the United States as a whole.
Yeah.
Guys, we're turning the tide. We're doing the right thing.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You're correct. I think, we saw, I believe, last fall in Montana, jury nullification in one of the cases. It's funny when you get around courthouses and DAs and you start talking about jury nullification, they want to put you in jail.
You bet.
They are scared to death of those two words.
But my Ford jury woman said that bringing back innocent on all charges for me was the proudest moment of her life.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, is that right?
Yeah, we'll talk later, but I invited the jury foreman over for a beer, and she came over and had a drink with us at
She came
Mackenzie's.
to the after party.
Yeah.
The forewoman did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hey.
God bless the United States.
I don't want to give away too much,
yeah,
but she looked right through what went on there, and we'll get into more detail, but the jury, you're right, man, they're not stupid. Even the conservative folks that sat on the jury in El Paso County saw the truth through the cops' lives, and that's refreshing. If it's happening here, it can happen in a federal courthouse anywhere too.
I'm sure you're going to get to this later, so I don't want to spoil anything, but why aren't the police brought up on perjury?
Oh, we're working on that.
All right.
But yes, we are going to get to that later. But right now, Chris probably wants to pay some more bills. It's like, no. All right, well, our sponsors probably want us to, Josh probably wants us to play his spot. So we're going to break out for a minute here, and we'll be right back on Overgrow the Radio.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado, and remember,
Always be kind to each other.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Dispensary in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
And we're back on Overgrow the Radio, and I put my co-host to work right before we came back. So we're going to dial up a friend of mine, Tracey Shogren, down in Manitou Springs, my lovely place of residence. Josh's brother lives there as well, right around the corner. Right. It's kind of funny because, you know, he was like the last one I met, and we live 50 foot from each other.
Yeah, he's the coolest guy.
It's ironic. Most people in Manitou are.
Hello.
Hey, Tracey, it's Stickman. How are you?
Hi, Stickman. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. We've got you live here on Overgrow with myself, Miss Elisa Kappelmann, who is a free lady this week, and we're celebrating. Woo-hoo! And Mr. Stanley is here with us as well.
Awesome.
He's been hanging out, educating us a little bit on stuff. So, Tracey, I want to, we talked with Casper Leitch a little bit. I don't know if you're familiar with his show, Time for Hemp. I said with him that even though I'm a patient, hemp is very big in my heart. It always has been. That's really what brought my awareness to, the medicine itself. That being said, you've been in the hemp business for quite some time. The hemp store has been in Manitou for how long?
14 years.
That's pretty impressive in our little town. Businesses come and go. It's a tourist town.
We're pretty excited. We feel very, very fortunate.
So I'm going to let you kind of talk a little bit about where you're at and what you do and really what made you decide to open the hemp store. I mean, we don't live in the most progressive community in the world.
No, we don't. Manitou is a nice little enclave of progressiveness, I like to think.
Absolutely.
In the middle of that vast sea of Colorado Springs. But we didn't actually open it. It was opened in 1998 by a man named Jeff Blazer. And we were lucky enough to purchase it from him in 2000. So our family has owned it for 12 years as of July 1st. And we're located right off of Manitou Avenue on Ruxton as you go up to Pikes Peak. And honestly, I didn't even know what hemp was before I encountered the store. But once I started to peel away the layers, I was just so amazed and hooked on this amazing plant. And again, like you just said, that was just from the hemp perspective, not the medicinal marijuana at that point. And then that's, the other aspect of the plant species is just a whole other amazing world. But I do think that health-wise, the human body can benefit from medical marijuana and hemp. I think they make the perfect fountain of youth.
Sure. What a lot of people don't know is hemp seed is really the only seed in nature that it's a superfood, really. It's the only thing that you can eat solely and survive on. It has every essential thing that your body needs, the fatty acids, everything. The oils, the acids, the whole nine. It's a superfood. You can use another thing, and I'll let you talk about this a little bit, the benefits of eating hemp. I mean, people don't realize that, you may work for the police department or for the fire department or whatever government agency, and you may not be able to use cannabis for its benefits, its health benefits, but you can use hemp. And I'm going to let you kind of talk about what hemp does for you, using it in your diet and how you would do that.
Well, externally, hemp is perfect for lotions and skin applications because genetically the ratio of omega-6 and omega-3 essential fatty acids is the same in the hemp seed as the human body. So 3.75 to 4 to 1 between the omega-6 and the omega-3. So it's just the most absorbable for us. It matches us. I think we and this plant we're meant to go together. We're symbiotic. And then internally, it just does all the same things. The reasons that people take, say, fish oil, nutritionally, hemp is going to be much better. It's much more absorbable. It's got more parts that we can use, and you don't have any nasty effects throughout the day that you do when you take capsules. It's a lot easier to work into your diet than taking some oil. You can sprinkle the seeds on your yogurt in the morning. We put the seeds and or the oil in our smoothies in the morning. You can add salads, soups, breads. You can eat it right out of the package, and it tastes like sunflower seeds. And yes, you could literally live on it. Alternative milk made from hemp seed happens to be Dr. Oz's favorite non-dairy milk. So yes, nutritionally, it can meet all the human requirements.
Absolutely. And of course, I encourage people to shop at your store and places like Mountain Mamas for hemp, but it's kind of encouraging to me that you're seeing more and more hemp, even in grocery stores nowadays.
It's at Costco.
Yeah. I mean,
that's awesome.
Right. Yeah, it's, mainstream America, at least they're going to look at it and see the picture of the leaf and say, oh, wait.
Right.
This is okay.
Yeah. It might be okay. Yes,
now let me get my Snickers bar and my Budweiser, and every life will be complete.
Exactly.
So
and I do think though that people like Dr. Oz definitely help lend legitimacy to the topic.
Sure, absolutely. Anything mainstream media. I mean, the Stanley is what Josh and his brothers do with American Weed and the different shows that they're on. And anytime I can get out conservative mainstream media, I will jump on that opportunity. Those are the people who, as we were just talking a minute ago, who are going to help us win this quote-unquote war. It's educating them.
Yes, absolutely.
15% of our population votes, and I guarantee it's probably not most of our friends.
You're right.
It's the other side, and that's really what's got to change in this equation. So I know you guys, my other half and I stopped in the other day. You were having a little shindig, if you will, at the hemp store. You guys.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
Yeah, tell me about that, because I didn't get to stick around.
That was for Hemp History Week. It was June 4th through the 10th this year, and this was the 3rd annual Hemp History Week. It's put on by Hemp Industries Association. There were over 100 events across the nation this year. One of the biggest goals was having people write letters to their elected officials to become co-sponsors of the industrial hemp farming bill at the federal level this year.
Awesome.
So we were lucky to have Elise there, and Rob Krause and Das from Original Sources came down and did some wonderful demonstrations for us.
I got to taste some hemp ice cream. That was wonderful.
Isn't that amazing? And he invented that on a dare. He was bragging about all the different things you can do with hemp and saying, you can do virtually anything. And someone said, well, can you make ice cream? And he ran off and he did it. And it's now one of the favorite treats of lots of people that I know, including a lot of kids with special dietary needs. It's the only frozen treat that they can have, and it's their favorite. And it's really
nice.
Amazing.
Right on. Well, we're going to, here in a couple minutes, we're going to cut out, and then we have a little story to tell for the last 15. But before we do, you kind of talked about where you're at, but you have a website, you have all that information, so I want to make sure we get that in real quick.
Oh, you're sweet. But I also wanted to mention that Jason Love was there on Sunday as well. And his work most recently with the hemp bill in Colorado, I just wanted to...
Absolutely. We talked about that a little bit with Casper. Jason's actually a board member of mine and a good friend. And, the hemp phytoremediation bill, which I, as before, didn't know the numbers of, sorry, Jason, is huge. I mean, we're the first... state in the nation that can grow hemp. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes from here. So we're going to cut out here for just a minute. You want to stick around? We're going to tell a story when we come back.
That would be great.
We'll be right back on Overgrow the Radio.
Peace.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
How ironic. We were just talking about women here on Overgrow the Radio and relationships, and Bob Marley might have it right once in a while. Sorry, Meg. Love you. We're back. We have Tracey on the phone. We do have Josh and Elisa here, though. I think you guys are still alive.
I think I'm still alive.
Yeah, I think this is the most I've heard Elisa talk since we started doing the show 2 months ago. She's back to her old self, and I love it. Yeah.
She's a free bird.
Yeah, she had a cloud over her for 2 years, and I can't imagine. I mean, we were all there beside her, but we weren't going through it, no fun. So yay. Yay for happiness.
Yes, I am very, very happy.
So speaking of happy, if you don't mind, Tracey, I want to start this off and just kind of start the story and then let you continue, and you and Josh can go from there. Sure. Tracey's a friend of mine. I met her, I guess, a couple of years ago, really. And, you've contributed a little here and there to Overgrow out in D.C., and I pop in and see you, and just happened to be out for coffee one day with another friend, and we popped in. I don't really remember what for, maybe to give you some flyers to promote our radio show. And you told me about having some moles removed that they thought were cancerous, and my initial reaction nowadays is Realm of Caring. I mean, it's just like a knee-jerk reaction, when I hear those words. For years, I've known, since I discovered Rick Simpson, I've known the benefits of oil, and the fact that we can now legally do it here in Colorado, Freudian slip, without being, raided and having to be exiled to Europe like Mr. Simpson was for so many years, is amazing. And, I popped in, we chatted, and I walked out the door with Robin, and I was like, I need to call Josh, and I actually sent you a text, I think, but you replied right back. I think you got in touch with Tracey the next day. I'm going to let you kind of jump in and let you guys finish this. I highlight the process. Let me clarify that, of what a patient goes through to get oil with you guys.
Well, obviously, I already had my card, so that made it very quick and easy. But if I could just back up a little tiny bit, I had spent the 2 weeks prior to when you came in on the internet, talking to friends, going back and forth, knowing that this product is the best bet I have for being alive as long as possible. And knowing I couldn't afford it in the store, and then being really overwhelmed as to how can I possibly produce it myself. And feeling like, first of all, A, like you said, I'm extremely lucky to live in Colorado where it's an option, but then B, really feeling like it was out of my reach as far as an option was concerned. So I was really kind of in a bad place emotionally when you set that in motion. And like you said, Josh got in touch with me the next day. They brought me my medicine the day after that. The fact that they brought it to my store, I'm completely overwhelmed. But already for myself also, realm of caring has been a knee-jerk reaction for me. Now when I talk to people, I've already encountered 3 people in the last 2 weeks that after hearing their story, I'm like, you need to go to this website and see if you fit what they're doing. And this is people and living and dying, and I'm really overwhelmed that I have a shot now.
Absolutely.
Well, Tracey, this is Josh here, and hi, honey. I just wanted, for us, on behalf of me and my brothers and my family, and us putting the realm of caring together, I want to thank you for the opportunity to work with you. It's a blessing that you put that kind of trust in my brothers and my family and the oil that we make. So I want you to know that we're here for you. The realm of caring is here for you. Whatever you need, whenever you need it. And I think, you've gone through one refill, and you just typically need to give us about 3 days notice, and that was great. And we'll have it there typically, a lot of times, just the next day, even that afternoon.
It's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's what I want. And what you just said, you just met 3 other people that could use this, and that's really, hence the name, the realm. We're all involved in this together. And whether it's hemp, whether it's medical marijuana, whether it's medicinal concentrated oils, we are the realm, and we're in it together, and we're in it to win it. And we want you to know that you're most important to us, and we're here for you.
Well, I can't tell you. There's no words to describe how much I appreciate it. So.
Well, you're very welcome.
So, I'll jump back in and kind of. So, folks, cancer patients listening or relatives of cancer patients, you and I have talked about this. For me, I've had so many people in my life die from cancer, that could have benefited from this oil, if nothing else, to prolong life and make it a little better. And didn't have it available. So yes, it is super amazing to me to have this program, to have just it available in general here in Colorado. Tracey hit on a good point. What people don't realize is it takes a lot of product to produce this oil. Something I want to encourage is everyone listening, encourage your dispensary. Not only encourage your dispensary, almost demand that your dispensary donate trim to the realm of caring. I personally will not shop at a dispensary that does not donate trim to the realm of caring. It's just flat out. SoCo MMJ donates, that's where I shop. In dispensary, obviously, that's where I shop. So, yeah, it's when you're making money and we're all paying bills, we're all paying fees, but if you look at a dying patient that comes into your store to buy cannabis and they can't afford to buy that $100 vial of oil, and you're not giving back by donating trim to the realm of caring, I'm not really sure how you can do that. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
That's how we got started. For 4 years, my brothers and I, we would come together and talk about my dispensaries in Denver and ours in the Springs, and we would look at these patients who needed this so badly, and we'd look at each other and say, how can we continue to charge these patients? Because, as I said earlier, you can have the best health insurance available in this country. You get diagnosed, and you're in financial trouble. And you don't know where to go, and you're scared. And a lot of times the oil is the last place that people will stop. Traditionally, cancer patients, after they've exhausted every type of therapy, and it works for them. And so we're trying to change that public perception and to where it becomes one of the first stops. And the realm of caring should be your stop. And the minute that we have to turn a patient away because the Stanley brothers can't make enough oil to give this away is the day I cry my eyes out. So if you, just what Stickman just said, get your dispensaries, demand your dispensaries to donate whatever strain-specific sweet leaf trim we can, because the Stanley brothers can help maybe 75 to 100 cancer patients at one given time, and that's a load on us, but it's our calling. It's what we want to do. Together, we can treat 5,000. That's what the medicinal marijuana community is about. It's about proof. It's about results. It's about education, and it's about community and caring. So, Tracey, we're honored to have you as part of the realm. You let us know what you need.
Thank you so much.
It's such a great story to hear and to know, someone personally and to be able to watch your progress. I'm going to stop in and say hi and check on you from time to time. Tracey, thanks for coming on tonight. I'm going to have Josh real quick shout out the Realm website again, and if you haven't already, and make sure folks know where to go. Any other contact info?
Yes, please. We have a contact info page on Realm of Caring. That's realmofcaring.com. And would love for you to go to the site, love for you to go to the Facebook and like it. Drop us a note and let us know how you can help, whether you can donate, whether you can donate money, sweet leaf trim, whether you can donate volunteer hours. We run around and try to bring flowers to cancer patients in the hospital with chemo, and certainly things like that are always appreciated. When you get afflicted with this incredibly terrible disease, you need somebody there. You need an ear. You need somebody to talk to. And that's what we're building here with the Realm. Realmofcaring.com.
Absolutely, guys. Keep up the good work. And we'll, like I said, we're going to have you guys back on soon. We're going to get the studio full of Stanleys again.
Uh-oh.
So we'll talk to you soon, Tracey. We'll have you back on to talk some more hemp. I appreciate it.
And I have to give a shout out to my granddaughter Naya. She's watching Grandma tonight on the radio. So hi, Naya.
Oh, that's awesome. Hi, Naya.
Hi, Naya.
All right, we're going to cut out here for just a second. We'll be right back. Stick with us. Coming up is Mr. Corry in the house with Miss Elisa, and we're about to rant and rave a little bit.
Peace.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. Runongrass.com.
My name is Gary Johnson. Today I reach out to you, members of all political parties. I reach out to everyone with a vote and an axe to grind. From the Tea Party, the Constitution Party, the Green and Libertarian parties. I call out to all of you, including the disaffected and disillusioned among the Republicans and Democrats. Today there's a handful of people in Washington ruining America for 330 million of us. They've kept our nation in a state of perpetual war and increasing unsustainable debt. This small group has presided over the elimination of our Bill of Rights and the systematic dismantling of our freedoms guaranteed us under our Constitution. It is them we should be fighting, not each other. We the people will never agree on the small things, but let's agree on the big thing. Our leaders have blown it. If we don't get control of this ship together and fix it together, we all go down with it together. I ask you to join me in trying something that's never been attempted before in America. Let's put our parties and our differences aside one time. Be libertarian with me for one election. Together, we'll stop the spending and end the wars. Together, we'll rebuild our own roads, bridges, schools, and hospitals instead of building theirs half a world away. Together, we'll restore our industrial might and our economy. And if, in 4 years, we as a people decide we don't like peace, prosperity, and freedom, we can always vote tyranny back into office again. America is better and brighter than this. Be libertarian with me this one time, and I'll prove it to you. Live free.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
And we're back on Overgrow the Radio. We all need a little medication break, stretch our legs, but we're here.
We are here.
We are here. You just heard from Gary Johnson, who was on the show when you were gone.
Yes, that was something I wish I hadn't missed.
Oh, he went on a crazy rant, and I have to admit I haven't had a chance because we were at court all week. I really haven't had a chance to sit down and re-listen to it. If you haven't listened to it yet and you're listening now, you should totally check it out when this show's over. Of course, don't leave yet.
Yeah. Speaking of court, we have a guest here. We have Robert Corry, who was my great and fierce attorney.
Absolutely.
Good to be here.
How are you, sir?
Doing fine, and yourself?
Oh, well, you know, we're good.
Yeah.
The cloud is gone from over us. It was a long... We're making an adjustment.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, we don't want a limp mic. We don't believe in limp mics here at iCannabis Radio.
Limp things don't do anybody any good.
We had an experience very early on. It's a good story for off the air with a local establishment here. We decided that limp things are bad. But yeah, a completely different topic. All right, we're back. So I think what we want to do, we've got a whole hour, and I know I have, and I'm sure Elisa has, and Rob too. I've been waiting to go into detail and rant and rave. You know, I flew up here last week during the trial to do a show, and it was all I could do not to go into detail and just hammer on these people. The ignorance that I saw, blatant lies on the stand, testimony by police officers from Colorado Springs Police Department. I mean, we're going to just start right at the beginning. I'm going to let Elisa take off from here and kind of talk about really the ordeal leading up to it, when she brought Rob on, and the battle since then.
So I was raided. I was a caregiver back in 2009, and I got raided in May of 2010. We had growers in the building who were a little not the smartest guys, and would leave their doors open. People saw their plants. They got robbed. The police were called, and the guy said, "Why aren't you watching this building? There's all these grows here." We also had the exact same grower, our number one guy. This is part of the reason I was in court. Is he was out welding in the parking lot, and he was welding a trailer hitch, and blew the transformer for the city of Colorado Springs. And so the utility crew had to come out, and they saw plants also. So the police decided to get a
$7 million
wasn't it
Homeland Security. No,
$7 million.
$7 million.
Homeland Security plane, and they flew over. They did the heat seeking so that they could see where grows were. They flew for 4 hours.
So I'm going to interject right here, as I want to do throughout this conversation this evening, because I'm rude and obnoxious, and say that Colorado Springs right there could have stopped, went to the tax records office, checked your public records that were registered in the name of Southern Colorado Medical Marijuana, and it could have been done. And how much money would that have cost them? Before they flew the plane down. I kind of stopped you a little bit late there.
They could have checked with the Secretary of State online, and we were registered as a business. It would have taken them probably 20 seconds.
Yep.
$1.50 in man hours.
Then we had a city sales tax license, a state sales tax license. When they busted our door in with a battering ram, the first thing they saw were our licenses on the wall.
Sure. So continue. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I so rudely interrupt you as you were talking about the $7 million plane that we flew down from the Canadian border to take pictures.
Actually, the police said that the plane actually had been in Denver, so all they paid for was gas. But if all they paid for was gas, our building was, let's see, there were 10 units in the building, and ours was 750 square feet. They spent 4 hours flying over.
I read it was $2,000 an hour, which makes that $8,000 that Colorado Springs needs. We can't keep our street lights on. We can't patrol all of our streets with police because we don't have the money to fund them. Continue.
Oh, okay. So what happened after that was once they flew over the building, then they came and knocked my door in with a battering ram. They hit a steel door 12 times and put a hole in my $1,200 steel door. There was actually a little note on the door that said, "In case of emergency, please call," with our cell phone numbers on it, which the detective says he called many times.
Yeah, I actually heard him. I'm sorry, Rob needs to talk in here too.
Yes, he does. Oh,
but I heard him on the stand say, and we'll just get Rob in on this comment, that he tried you 20 times, that you didn't answer.
And that he left messages 20 times.
And that can't be right.
Well, number one, if he's calling from a blocked number, I usually don't answer those. But if he left you 20 voicemails from the Colorado Springs Police Department, I know you, Elisa. You return my calls. Sometimes you're busy, sometimes you're at work. But I'm going to guess if the police called you, you're not going to ignore them 20 times.
Well, the funny thing was, once we were raided, we hired legal counsel, and we gave them all the paperwork that would show that we were legal. We even organized it into a notebook for them and had him deliver it to the DA and go over it with them. So they've had the information from the very beginning.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but he didn't just deliver it to the front desk. Your first counsel was actually working with someone at the DA's office personally and hand-delivered it to them, and had that personal relationship to where you would think they wouldn't have just tossed it aside. Again, another spot where I'm jumping in to say we could have stopped right there and been done with this.
Lots of opportunities for the DA to exercise some adult supervision in this case.
Is that something, Rob, that you see a lot in your trials?
Usually they know whether they want to go forward or not earlier. This one, they just didn't seem to make that decision. It was strange. I think it's the political environment over there in that office.
I think Dan May wants to prosecute anybody he can possibly prosecute.
Yeah, it's a political thing.
Well, I got an email today from the council board down in the Springs, and Mark Slaw, my fellow board member, said it really well, that they're just throwing stuff to the wall and hoping that it sticks. There's 3 or 4 more trials going on right now that I just heard about today down there for caregivers or owners of some sort. So I'm curious to know more details about those. But yeah, it's definitely a mindset in our county. Again, as we were saying earlier, despite what the voters want, we voiced our opinion that they've tried a few times to get rid of dispensaries and then the zoning thing, and more than once the people spoke and have spoken, and it's like they don't hear us. Continue though, because we got way off track there, and we can jump back in.
They broke into the warehouse. They came in. They counted plants. They didn't know that cuttings weren't plants, and they counted those also. Most of what was in there, the finished product was, I believe we had 1 or 2 jars of finished bud. The rest was trim. And they also charged me at the time with a concentrate because they thought that trim leaves in a jar were a concentrate. Apparently they got that tested and they dropped that concentrate charge.
Well, the lack of knowledge throughout the trial process, I mean, I honestly learned most of the details, in the great detail that they come out in trial. We'd talked, but we'd never really, I didn't know things like that. I didn't know that your file box had disappeared and went behind one of the heaters, There's a lot of things. But what I want to do, I'm getting an overview from you for the people who didn't listen to previous shows where we've talked to you. And then, maybe here in a few minutes, we're going to jump into the trial, and we're going to start right from the beginning with jury selection. I know we talked at lunch that we were all just kind of biting our tongues with what was going on, and it's been so frustrating to not only see you go through this, but to see the travesty happen in a courtroom in El Paso County. So...
Okay, so they break into our unit, they count the plants, they weigh what's there, and the really funny thing is they took, I believe it was 0.7 grams of product with them, which is absolutely nothing. And they didn't bother any of the plants. They didn't take any of the finished product because all of my patient information, or most of it, was posted on a wall. And what wasn't posted on a wall was in a little file cabinet that was sitting in a bright pink file cabinet right on top of a table. We noticed in the pictures that the police took that that was missing from the table, and then they took pictures and you could see it hidden in a corner. So basically they had moved my records, and when they came to court they said I only had what was posted on the wall.
So, Mr. Corry, I want to get your opinion on that right there. I mean, it's obviously misleading at best. I'm being very generous there. Do you think this is something they did on purpose, or do you honestly think they just haphazardly threw them aside? And
yeah, it's so hard to say whether they're incompetent or corrupt. It's just
take your choice.
I was gonna say I'd probably vote for both.
It's hard to figure out. I guess it's possible to be both, isn't it?
It is.
Incompetently corrupt. maybe that's good.
Should be Dan May's next campaign slogan.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
So yeah, there is no answer to your question. I think we'd have to hook up Detective Lemkuhl to a lie detector and ask him, but he's probably
he
pretty good.
He wouldn't be able to talk.
Well, he's probably pretty good at beating even lie detectors too.
I'm pretty sure all he would be able to say on a lie detector, as well as I'm going to make a blanket statement for any cop who I've seen take the stand, is I do not recall.
Yeah.
Those are the words they say when they don't want to answer questions.
But he recalled a lot.
He did.
He did. Yeah, we're going to get into that. So Lisa, they busted down your door. They
took nothing.
Right, they took nothing, which we saw at trial. They had 7 grams, I believe. So after that, nothing. Or continue.
Okay, so after they took nothing, and I hired an attorney, had them take my paperwork to the DA's office. We thought everything was fine because this was in May, and it wasn't until late August or early September, I would believe it was early September, that there was a article in the Gazette-Telegraph that said the police had all these units out, did all these raids, had this $7 million plane fly around, and we had no arrests. So 2 days later, my attorney called me and said, there's a warrant out for your arrest, and I went and turned myself in.
So I have to jump in again because, I said I was going to be rude tonight a little bit. I read an article like yesterday, maybe the day before, from KRDO, who I want to give kudos to. I like to promote other media, so maybe someday we'll be on their station.
They did a good job.
They did a fantastic job. And they also did an article for Mr. May talking about, I don't know if, I know I showed it to you, but I don't know if Rob's seen this, talking about how El Paso County courts are the busiest in the state of Colorado. And they only focus their resources on worthwhile cases. How did he type that or say that to this reporter with a straight face?
Well, here's the other thing. I also met with the DA with my attorney and talked to him about the case, and I don't know if they're confused about the law or they're just blatantly trying to nail people to the wall and know that they're wrong.
At what point did Rob come in here to the equation?
Do you know when I hired you?
Oh, it was at least a year ago.
Yeah, it was at least.
So you've been on for a good majority of the battle then.
A lot of appearances.
And how many times, just estimating, did you guys go in and file motions?
Into court probably 6 or 7 times.
Oh, I've been.
Wow.
A lot of expense.
Well, expense, and that's so taxing on, you're getting paid for it and you enjoy it.
Well,
every time.
He was my second attorney. I had an attorney previous to him. I've been in court over a dozen times.
And that's absurd.
Yeah.
Think of the money spent on you.
Every time we went there, the courts were packed.
Yes.
There's a lot of action down there.
Yeah, that first day, we're about to get into it, I think. At jury selection, I fought a little battle for us and got us all back in after they kicked us out and told us we couldn't be in there. But we'll talk about that in a second as we get going. Let's finish up, and then we'll probably take a quick break and come back and get into that.
Okay. So I turned myself in, spent about 6 hours in the county lockup, which was an eye-opening experience at best.
You haven't really lived till you've been to jail.
I had no idea.
You really haven't.
It's colorful.
I had no idea.
It's an interesting place.
When I was going in to pick up my property, there was a girl in there, and everybody thought I was one of the jailers. She was like, "Are you in here to watch me?" I said, "No, I'm here to get my stuff." She's like, "Oh, you're okay then."
So you weren't a jailhouse snitch.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nice. Well, you kind of, you have the motherly, like Martha Stewart went to prison and they all adopted her to do the gardening and cooking and whatever. So, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So you went to jail,
I wish
and I
you
know
had a picture of yourself in jail and in the uniform and all that.
Were you in a
with
jumpsuit?
Some of your friends?
I was not in a jumpsuit.
Oh, you didn't get that far?
No, I didn't get that far.
But I know you've told me before they did kind of stand you against the wall.
They stood me against a wall
you.
for 2 hours when I first got there. And they do it, I think, to intimidate you, because that's where all the prisoners go into the prison. And so there are all these bad-looking guys, like in ankle chains and stuff, and they're 2 inches away from me. And I'm standing against this wall for 2 hours. Then they kept throwing us in a little lockup cell. It was fun.
Yeah, jail is not fun.
Oh, man.
Jail is not fun. So after that, really, you were free. if I'm correct.
Yes, I bonded. Actually, I came into the county lockup with my bondsman, and he posted my bond at 8 o'clock that morning. I just didn't. They have to keep you long enough that they get paid for the day.
Sure.
That's what happens.
You got to bill the right people.
Well, the taxpayers need to pay some money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we just heard you had like 12 court appearances, and you were free until trial. But before trial, you also kind of met another consequence that was unforeseen. Do you want to talk about that?
Before trial.
You were removed from your business.
So we own a medical marijuana center, and right now licensing is going on. And apparently I am guilty till proven innocent by the licensing committee, and they made me remove myself from my own business. So I had to actually take myself off the business and stop working at my own business before my trial. So that broke my heart because I couldn't be around my patients. I couldn't do what I do, and I love the people I work with. It was heartbreaking to me to not be able to go into work, which is kind of silly for most people, but it was.
Absolutely. And I know as one of your patients, it not only broke your heart, but I think it broke our hearts and your employees' hearts. It wasn't the same at SoCo.
Yeah, and I guess you're guilty until proven innocent.
And that's right.
I'm
still trying to get my name back on my business, but I'm able to return to business as usual. I can go back as an employee until I can get back as an owner.
Well, and Rob may not know, but we did a show a while back about her case and Bob's case, and I actually emailed Barbara Miller, who's the PIO for CSPD. Took over for my friend Noblet. I met him at Occupy. We didn't really get along so well. And she was, kind enough to get the questions over to Lieutenant Godsey, who heads up V&I, who raided Miss Elisa. And he responded to him pretty quickly within a day. I was impressed. And one of the questions I asked, and it's not word for word, but was something to the effect, how do you justify putting police on your police force who have more of a criminal record than Elisa Kappelmann and not let her work in a business that she started with her own money? I mean, that's a logical question. They answered most of the questions. The answer to that one, and I can quote this, no comment. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump to commercial here. We skipped one break, and we got the history, we got the lowdown a little bit.
We'll let Rob tell you what happened in court.
We're going to get into court. We're going to start at the beginning with jury selection. We've got one of Rob's partner, Travis, in studio, just rolled in.
How's it going?
And we're going to get us all on the air talking some trash. So stick with us. We'll be right back on Overgrow the Radio.
You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Dispensary in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com. Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Hi, I'm Rick Cusick from High Times Magazine, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio.
No, I'm dropping my pen. We're back on the air, and I'm dropping my pen. Damn it, man. I love how I can cuss on internet radio. It's so fun. So as promised, we're back. We've actually got Travis Simpson with us as well as Rob Corry and Elisa Kappelmann. These guys fought for my friend, not only my friend, but as I said the other day on Facebook, Elisa and her family are pretty much family. I don't have any family in Colorado, and she's one of the people who has filled that gap. So you guys have been through a crazy 2-year battle. You guys have been on board for over a year. You know, we've all watched what has went on and saw the just ridiculous circumstances surrounding this. We want to start right in the beginning. I don't really care who starts. We'll do like a little round table tonight, you know, about, we're going to hit jury selection. We're going to start right from there. I mean, what were your guys' as attorneys, what were your guys' impressions of the original group that came in for jury selection?
Well, it was an epic saga, this whole thing. So to think about the jury, I mean, this would be a pretty good cross-section of El Paso County, I thought.
We
but
did.
A lot of people, just law and order kind of hardcore people.
Yeah. Yeah, they like the military down there for sure.
Yeah.
And being law enforcement, and you know, you got to be nice to the cops when they're on the stand a little bit.
Yeah, I was lucky enough the first day, I guess. I got to sit up with you guys in front of the partition. Maybe I pissed them off, and they're just like, yeah, we'll just let it slide. He's cool. You know, the prosecutor, I remember, questioned Rob and Lisa both about who I was. I'm your son. You
yes,
know?
You are.
We're in America. What defines a family here anyway? You know, like I just said, we're all family. So, you know, and as I mentioned before the break, I guess real quick, you know, they did kick everyone out of the courtroom, claiming that there wasn't room for the jurors. Well, there's nothing, just so people know, you got to exercise your rights, and there's nothing that says that the jurors have to be in a courtroom for this process. Anything behind that partition in a courtroom is public space. Now, technically, everything in front of the partition is also public space, but I don't recommend you go in front of there. That being said, I challenged this at Bob Krause's trial, and I think she just kind of gave up. And this lady was a little more hard-ass about it. I'm not sure. I need a nickname for her. I'll figure one out. She was nice in some aspects, but not really.
I think she's tough because that's her job, to be tough.
Oh, absolutely. She's good at her job. There's no doubt.
I don't think we're used to that kind of support either in the courtroom. I mean, typically you have maybe a couple people in there, and this it's quite the turnout every single day.
Yeah, man, and I would say that they're going to have to get used to that support because it's only growing. What I've seen over the last 2 years for her and Bob both, you know, when I first started going to things, there was support, but it wasn't nearly what it is now.
Well, we had protesters out in front of the courthouse every day and a packed gallery every day we were in court, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So jury selection, I would agree that for the Springs, it was a pretty good group of people. You know, you're going to get a lot of hardline people. And you know, we were lucky enough, I randomly in the hall invited our foreman over for a beer, and we got insight that, you know, I want to talk to you guys about, because that's got to be like gold anytime that happens. You know, they saw through so much, and I was so refreshed and impressed by that, you know, being in the Springs. Even the one holdout, you know, from what I hear after he gave his little "I'm the man" speech, he voted in favor of common sense. You know, so it is refreshing to see that kind of thing happening down there.
Yeah, it was a good group of people. I mean, they worked really hard on this case. They deliberated for 6 hours over a weekend, basically. I mean, Friday afternoon, then started back up Monday morning. Good service. I don't always like the juries I'm in front of, but this one I liked.
Oh, there was 11 women. Tell me you don't like 11 women, Rob.
Yeah. Tell me 11 women don't like me.
That's true. I did have the cute attorneys.
And Travis.
I did have the cute attorneys.
You know, beauty
So-
wins out in the end, I suppose. All right.
There's perks. I mean, you know, I'm sure. So the opening arguments, I'm going to let you guys talk about that. Travis was there for that.
Absolutely.
What do you think of the first day?
The first
Once
day.
we finally got started a day
Finally
late.
got started. You know, I thought it started off good. I thought the prosecution was actually. I thought they were a little weak that first day, and the second day really kind of turned it up a little bit more. But I thought they kind of. I think you kind of described them, Elisa, as a sad puppy. The team kind of, and maybe they were tired of prepping all night the night before. I don't know, but I thought we came out pretty strong. I think that was important.
Well, I definitely noticed that the first day the wind was out of their sails after that.
I thought so too.
You know, I think, and I want to get into this in detail with everyone. Limpcool, and if I'm not pronouncing that right, I'm sorry to whoever's listening from the police department tonight.
I hope they're listening.
I hope so
I'm
too.
sure someone's
They'll learn
listening.
something. They'll
Yeah, I made
learn
sure
something.
all the DAs that were in the courtroom all week knew all about iCannabis Radio.
I wish they had a radio show, because I'd listen to their radio show.
We want to have
If
them
the
on a
cops
radio
had
show,
one.
so this is another open invitation to Dan May's office or
Awesome.
anyone who works for Dan May that we would love to have you on.
We would
because-
love to have you come and discuss.
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand
You'll
that
treat
point
them
of
with
view.
respect. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to understand that
We're
point
just-
of view so we can work together to correct things
Yeah.
and make things better.
You know, but I did want to say about these prosecutors. I mean, these were two good prosecutors.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are very experienced. They knew what they were doing. I mean, they tried a pretty flawless case from a technician's perspective, but there was one thing they didn't have, which was they didn't believe in their case in their heart, and that was the problem.
Well, in
You know,
fact,
and you could see that. Juries see that.
Yeah.
They can see right through you if you're lying to them. And these guys, I wouldn't say they were lying, but they didn't actually believe in their case.
Well,
you know?
they were hanging their heads, and as I said, you know, the wind was gone after the first day. You know, their original charges, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an attorney, but I believe they brought their star witness first, who was Detective Limpcool.
Yeah.
I would say.
And that's typical.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Okay, and you know, he obviously worked more in your guys' favor than the prosecution.
Oh, I don't know. He was a tough witness.
Yeah.
I got to say. I mean, he did well for his side.
Yeah.
But
He's very programmed.
He had the jury convinced of some things that I don't know if they were an out-and-out lie on his part or if he's just very, very misinformed about the law. And if it's the second, that's even scarier than the first.
Yeah.
It is. There's two reasons that Detective Limpcool should no longer be a part of CSPD. The first one being, and we're going to talk about this, how many times did you ask him about the legality of dispensaries before the glorious date of July 1st, 2010?
Well, that was really half of their case, this alleged July 1st, 2010 cutoff that really they got backwards. They were saying and testifying that you couldn't be open before July 1st, 2010, when actually the law says you had to be open before July 1st, 2010 to continue to be open.
Sure.
But Lemke was believable. I think he's an effective cop. I think he should be concentrating his efforts on homicides, robberies, crimes of violence where human beings are harmed.
Well, yeah,
he shouldn't be wasting his time with a harmless medicinal herb. Actually, it's better than harmless. It's a beneficial medicinal herb.
And maybe he understands the laws around those things, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I offered one of the last days of the trial, I actually, it was Corry O'Neill, one of the prosecutors, and one of the females that was in and out of the courtroom for the DA's office. I offered as a board member from the council to work with the police and work with the DA's office with workshops to teach them facts about cannabis. How to say the word tetrahydrocannabinol. One of the prosecutors was unable to say it. He just said, well, I give up, it's THC. So, just basic knowledge so they don't get up on the stand and look like fools, because the fact of the matter is the American people are becoming more and more educated about cannabis every day. And when they get up there with like loose facts and things that just make no sense, these people see it. And not to digress, but to jump back, to their evidence, their pictures of your grow room. They almost were trying to paint a picture with their, roll of pictures. They took pictures from, it had to have been 32 different angles in your little 10 by 10 grow room.
To make it look like a bunch of plants when it's really not.
What amazed me was how many pictures they had of a 4x4 tent from different angles to make it look like there were hundreds and hundreds of plants or something. And it was a 4x4 tent.
I think the jury was dissatisfied that they didn't actually have marijuana in that courtroom. I mean, pictures aren't as good as the real tangible thing. And they didn't even take the marijuana in this case.
Or even
that
clippings.
was one.
Well,
that
and
was
that's
one of the big
thing.
facts we had. They had reasonable doubt at the scene that this was legal or illegal.
And SoCo has been in business since that day.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never taken anything from you guys. Unfortunately, they've not taken the important things either, like paperwork.
Even though we tried to give it to them.
Absolutely. So you guys did an amazing job on the opening arguments. I think, you presented the facts as they were from the beginning. As we talked about already, you presented all the paperwork, and Rob and Travis pointed that out. That everything was public, the paperwork was taken to the proper people. This should have been done, basically.
They were never trying to hide.
Right, and I mean, do you guys feel that's where I saw a shift, is really after you guys were done your first round, if you will. That's where I saw the shift in the jury, was right then. There were people with weird looks, but they were also looking at the judge that way too. I think they were bored and wanted a snack or a cigarette.
Well, this jury was very inquisitive too. They had a lot of questions, and way more questions than we usually see, and I think that shows that they were actually in tune. They were paying attention, and they had a lot of questions and concerns.
Extremely inquisitive. I've never seen as many jury questions in the trials I've done. A couple dozen. I mean, these people, it was probably 100 questions at least.
It was amazing the amount of effort they put in.
From a lawyer's perspective, I want that, because I want to know what they care about, and I want to know what they don't understand, what I'm missing. I mean, being able to fine-tune our case because of those jury questions throughout was a big advantage in a way.
Sure.
It was great.
And let me just jump forward and what I just hit on before. Travis wasn't there, and God, I wish you'd have been there too. But what did you think about the insight you got from the juror who actually stopped by the after party and hung out with us?
Yeah, that was very probing. I mean, we got lucky that this woman was smart, caring, paid really close attention. She was an RN, and that was pretty fortunate, and that doesn't happen every time.
Well, she said that was the proudest moment of her life, and that was really touching.
Sure. That is moving, because a lot of people look at jury service as a burden, and it is a burden, but this woman was the perfect juror for you.
Well, she cared about what happened. She wanted to do the right thing, and I can't even express what I feel about that. It's amazing.
I had never met the lady in my life, and when I walked into the party, I actually saw her crossing the street as I was moving my car, and I was like, ooh, I want to get back in, you know, before she leaves. And I just hugged her. You know, she hugged me. It was just the reaction, you know.
Yeah. And it was a big moment for her, you know, the jury service, and that's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm all for public service. As a matter of fact, I've been summoned to jury duty on June 25th, it just happens to be the same day as Bob Krause's trial date.
Well, I think you could probably be a fair juror in that case.
I can be very unbiased. I'm sorry, but I have to pay attention to facts, so, you know.
I mean, based on what I know about you, I'm confident you can be fair.
Thank you, sir. Do you think they would take your recommendation at the DA's office?
I'd make the DA waste a peremptory challenge on it. Let's put it that way.
Well, the way I look at that is I still get 5 minutes in the room with the whole room of jurors, potential jurors, and I like to educate people about cannabis and the benefits of oil and cancer and Amendment 20.
Well, if you end up with handcuffs on your wrists, give us a call. We'll help you out.
It's nice to have attorney friends.
I can make a recommendation.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, there's a reason why I do a radio show in an attorney's office. Nice. I think I bought Rob a coffee one day, too, so, you know, it's fair, right? Fair.
Yep, absolutely.
No, you guys definitely kicked ass. We're going to cut out for a commercial break here real quick, and then we got to sort of speed things up, but we're still going to get everything in. And we're going to definitely hit on, you know, the reaction at the end. I had never seen anything like that in a courtroom. So we'll be right back here on Overgrow the Radio.
Peace.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
My name is Gary Johnson. Today I reach out to you, members of all political parties. I reach out to everyone with a vote and an axe to grind. From the Tea Party, the Constitution Party, the Green and Libertarian parties. I call out to all of you, including the disaffected and disillusioned among the Republicans and Democrats. Today there's a handful of people in Washington ruining America for 330 million of us. They've kept our nation in a state of perpetual war and increasing unsustainable debt. This small group has presided over the elimination of our Bill of Rights and the systematic dismantling of our freedoms guaranteed us under our Constitution. It is them we should be fighting, not each other. We the people will never agree on the small things, but let's agree on the big thing. Our leaders have blown it. If we don't get control of this ship together and fix it together, we all go down with it together. I ask you to join me in trying something that's never been attempted before in America. Let's put our parties and our differences aside one time. Be libertarian with me for one election. Together, we'll stop the spending and end the wars. Together, we'll rebuild our own roads, bridges, schools, and hospitals instead of building theirs half a world away. Together, we'll restore our industrial might and our economy. And if in 4 years we as a people decide we don't like peace, prosperity, and freedom, we can always vote tyranny back into office again. America is better and brighter than this. Be libertarian with me this one time, and I'll prove it to you. live free.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. runongrass.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
And we're back on Overgrow the Radio. Man, when he does that no music thing, it fools me every time. It's because he cut a commercial for us, because we got a lot to get to real quick before we get out of here. You know, we sat through a few days of testimony, and you know, I'm going to kind of condense a little bit of it. You know, they called the CD, help me
PHE?
here. There you go. They called one of the head people from that. Right.
Actually, he's
I'm
with.
hunting for a name here.
They called
Lee?
Lee
the
Colorado
McGavin.
Springs
Lee,
guy.
Not McGavin.
Lee McCrae.
McCrae. I knew it was Mick something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good witness for us.
Yeah.
He was a very good
That
witness.
was nice of him.
But the star witness is right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
well, and they also called Cliff Black your first attorney, which was ironic because they decided not to use Cliff, and he
James Bond.
Nice. He was saying it. You know, they came by him in the hallway. He was telling me this after the case. I should clarify that they walked by him in the hallway and looked a little shocked that he was still there. You know, like, oh God, why are you still here? Shouldn't you be gone? And then they called Don, and Don was a rock on the stand. I mean, they hammered him as they did you, which we're about to get into.
Well, Don did all the heavy lifting. He testified for it was like 6.5 hours, I believe, on the stand, and they just hammered him. And
Mad
he did
props to Don.
He did
Absolutely.
a fantastic job on the stand.
Where is he? How come he didn't come?
He was closing the shop when I left.
Somebody's got to work.
Got to do that.
Bills.
Yep.
So yeah, I think to digress just a little, I think
Since
after
you
the
can.
first day when that whole wind out of the sails faded, they were looking for any way to trip you up in your testimonies. You know, you got hammered, and I'll let you talk about this, about smoking weed and your, you know, deviant past that you've lived. And, I mean, it was absurd. It was frickin' absurd. You'd think these people knew you since you were 5, the way they were talking about you.
That alienates the jury too. You could tell.
Oh,
You could
yeah.
tell. Half those people had tried it or
Well,
something.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
Well, he was trying to say, you know, you smoked weed when you didn't have a red card, and I just said, well, I bet you smoked a joint in college, and the entire courtroom started laughing. Even the judge started laughing.
Those are good moments. I like laughing courtrooms.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Yeah, even the judge made a comment at one point when you motioned for the mistrial for the noise. You know, I liked his response because he made the comment something to the effect of, well, I'm laughing at him. You know, basically saying if they're going to be idiots and give stupid testimony, they're going to get laughed at.
But I think they hammered on Don for so long because they thought they'd break him, and he's unbreakable.
Yeah,
he was.
He did a great job.
And then when I got on the stand, I don't think they wanted me on the stand. I don't think they wanted them looking at me. I don't think they wanted them hearing me. I was on the stand for a very short amount of time, and when I was on the stand, I was asked. The detective had testified. The lead detective, Limkule, had testified that he had called me 20 times between the time that they had raided my place and the time that they issued an arrest warrant, and that he had left 20 messages, which is really strange because I didn't get one. And so he asked me, well, if this guy has called you 20 times and left you 20 messages, and you just decided never to contact him, isn't that right? And I said, that's a lie. I said, he never tried to contact me because I have answering machines, I have voicemail, and I didn't get anything. I said, he is lying. And from that point on, Detective Lemkule looked at me like he wanted to kill me. And the funny thing was, he was sitting in the prosecutor's box. I was on the stand. The jury's in between us, and they can see this. And for the entire rest of the time I was testifying, he was looking at me like he wanted to kill me.
Oh, sure. Well, and in their closing argument, as I was just talking about during the break, their big argument was your credibility because you stared down Detective Lemkule. I'm sorry, but if someone kicked in my door illegitimately and then drugged me through the sand for 2 years through this ordeal and then sat on the stand in front of a jury, you know, an officer of the law, as an officer of the law, and flat out lied, I would stare him down too.
So how did it feel to be up there?
Oh, it feels like you're in a fishbowl.
Yeah. What did it feel like when you strode up there and put your hand up and took the oath? What was that like?
That was kind of surreal. It's something you see on TV. It's not something you ever expect to do. It was.
Rule number 1, don't go into court and take an oath.
It was crazy. But yes, it was surreal.
Okay, so then you settle into the seat. What's that like? Kick back,
turning
look
around,
at the jury.
Turning around, I couldn't really see the jury from where I was sitting before because they tried to hide me. And so it was pretty terrifying, actually, to turn around and look and see the prosecutors and the jury. I mean, that's not something you ever think you're going to do in your life.
Well, let's face it, Reggie the prosecutor, Reggie Short, is kind of small. No pun intended there on the name. So I'm sure he was perfectly okay with the prosecutor seeming very big and scary to you. It gave him that extra little advantage that the elevated shoes couldn't.
Well, he is pretty good at his job, I think, because he would ask questions, just rapid fire, and a question on a question. It was like compound questions, and then, isn't that so?
Yeah.
And you didn't know what he was asking you, and so
suggestive questioning. It's a sales technique.
They're both good lawyers on the prosecution side. It's just like, why waste that kind of talent on prosecuting you about an herb?
Yeah. Well, he had
They should have given that to some interns, and just let them try themselves out. But to waste those high-level people for 5 days on that?
Well, to use tricky techniques is all they had, so that was it.
Absolutely. So we're like running out of time, of course, like we always do. I want to talk about, I sat through the trial. I flew up here and did a radio show last week, but other than that, I was pretty much in the Springs all week and Monday. It's like the carryover day you want to forget,
Man.
Actually, it was a very happy day. I shouldn't say that. And I've sat through a few cases in my life, not a lot, thank goodness, but I've never seen a reaction. For me personally, as they were reading the verdict, you turned around and I think you may have had tears in your eyes, and it was just a chain reaction. I think the whole courtroom, myself included, was crying.
I saw some jurors with tears in their eyes.
I guarantee you did. I did too. And
that's a good moment. A crying juror is not a hanging juror usually.
Yeah. I mean, it was emotional, I think, because my point being, I think folks in this case saw the injustice, and You know, I got to mention we've got a juror in our chat room right now going by the name of Baby Cake, and we want to thank all the jurors for the justice that was served and for seeing through the testimony that was just ridiculous. You know, Rob, Travis, thank you guys so much for helping my friend.
It's a pleasure.
Elisa, I'm very happy that we have you back, that you have yourself back.
I am so pleased, and part of the reason is not just for me. I think Rob said it best when they interviewed him. This sets a precedent, and hopefully this will help some other people too.
It absolutely does, and I hope Ken Buck's listening too. We got on him a little earlier. There are DAs across our country that are doing things like this to people. Not everyone's lucky enough to live in a medical state where we have that defense. So we've got to all keep educating. I really appreciate you guys coming in. I'd like to get you back. I know I just heard you guys are all going to be on American Weed the Realm on Tuesday. That's exciting. That's one of our new shows here at iCannabis Radio. Fun times.
All right.
So we'll have you back maybe at some point. We'll talk some more trials and injustices and call them out a little bit. Drink some ale that Travis was nice enough to bring in.
It is Liberty Ale.
Liberty Ale. It's a good theme.
And I would just like to say thank you to all my friends, my family, my lawyers, everybody who came and supported me, everybody who protested, those of you who even supported me on Facebook, people who thought about me. I just want to say thank you. It was overwhelming, the amount of support I had. And I really, really appreciate it. Some other people I want to thank are our sponsors. We can't do this without you. So I want to thank The Realm in Colorado Springs, also in Dispensary, Green Monster Glass, and Southern Colorado Medical Marijuana. Thanks, you guys.
Absolutely. And as I say at the end of a lot of shows, the key to what we're doing is education. I think what we've talked about all night long with Hemp and then Elisa's trial are things that have to be put out there to everyone. So I guess we ask that you share tonight's show and educate someone in that way. And hopefully no one that you know or anyone listening ever has to go through what Ms. Kappelmann did.
And I know some really good attorneys if you need them.
We all do. We're blanketed in good MMJ attorneys here in Colorado. Thank you guys again for what you do. I look forward to sitting in on another trial and watching you kick some ass.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Till next time, we love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
Later.